After a Reddit comment called my characters faceless and impersonal, I took that personally and added faces to the planets. There are 8 emotes which can be used by any planet, but each emote is also canonically assigned to a planet. Mercury has sunglasses because being so close to the sun, it would probably need them. Venus, named after the goddess of love, has a kissing face, so you can have a kiss for good luck at the start of matches. Earth has a smiling face because everyone on this planet is happy. Mars, named after the god of war, has an angry face. Jupiter has a big open mouth for a big open planet. Saturn spins a lot, so it would probably get dizzy, but it also represents death. AI planets show this face after dying. Uranus has an obnoxious laughing face, fitting its name and playstyle. AI planets will use this face if a round lasts less than 7 seconds. Neptune is sad, which I picked for its blue colour, and since it's probably lonely being so far from the other planets. Emotes can be selected by picking one of the 8 directions and pressing in the joystick, with positive emotions at the top and negative emotions at the bottom. I also updated some other visuals and sounds. Planets now have 4 impact textures based on their size and temperature. Hearing the same bounce sound over and over could get annoying, so I changed the pitch of the sound from the size of the planet. I also added some random pitch variation. I did something similar for typing sounds. Game sound now stops playing when you tab out to do something else on your PC, and sound effects pause properly in the pause menu. I added some extra sound effects, such as this teleport sound when you go through a wormhole. Speaking of wormholes, I made the heliopause ring bigger on Wormholodrome. I noticed in playtests that people could benefit from some more room to move around on this map. I also realized that map size should scale with the player's speed stat rather than mass, so faster planets have more room to move around. Players didn't like how easily you could die from one interaction on the Sun and Death map, where you can't bounce the ring to survive. So I quadrupled the amount of portals. Try dying now! Oh, I guess you can still fit through the gaps. Playtests also brought on some character balance changes. Now that maps were bigger, Uranus was emerging as a dominant character. No matter how many times you bounced them, a skilled player would always bounce straight back off of the ring and drain your health from grabs. Instead of nerfing Uranus directly, I added an alternate win condition for bounces. I made bouncing opponents do a small amount of damage that scales with speed, overlap, and the bounce stat. This meant that bouncing on big maps was no longer futile and would eventually kill your opponent. This made the bounce stat a little overloaded, so I moved bounce duration and recovery rate to the temperature stat, since it was pretty lackluster. From playtesting the demo, where Earth was the only character, I noticed a problem that I could only see due to the characters being identical. Often the faster moving planet was dealing less bounce damage than the one standing still. This was due to a bug where bounce damage was being applied multiple times when players bounced at the same time. I fixed the bug and made speed more of a factor for bounce damage too. On the topic of bugs, while getting footage for an earlier devlog, I noticed that the spin and temperature stats weren't behaving like I wanted for breaking out of grabs. I found out there was a long-standing bug where the spin stat was taken from the grabbing character rather than the one that was being grabbed, meaning having a high spin was actually a bad thing. Well, at least it's fixed now. There are 8 AI presets with only 3 of them related to difficulty. Instead of adding too many presets, I decided to give fine-grained control over the AI precision, adaptability, and aggression traits. This way, players could change the difficulty to somewhere in between the presets, or go beyond the hard setting, in case you really wanted to play against an AI that never misses a ring bounce. It was cumbersome to set up multiple AI players with the same settings. Under a new Add Players submenu, I added the ability to copy character and AI behavior to newly created players. The original behavior of adding a new random character with adaptive AI is still available. I also added sub-menus to easily delete AI players or possess them to change their settings. In the previous devlog, I released a demo for the Steam Next Fest. It was featured prominently under the fighting game and local multiplayer sections. The demo ended up having over 300 unique players, and I got some good feedback. Players found that the Moon Amongst the Mess mission was a little boring, so I moved an asteroid outside of the ring that can be exploded with a bomb. I added an extra restart button prompt to the pause menu, since some players didn't realize they could press the select button to instantly restart a mission. There was enough feedback to finally convince me to make the spin tutorials better. The AI no longer randomly changes spin direction, so players can predictably see the impact that spinning has on grabs. The AI now also changes based on score, starting with spinning in one direction, then the other, and in the final round, it switches direction midway through. But players should be prepared for it now. I always thought the second mission was finicky to control, so I decided to give players the freedom to move around. This means that players can come up with their own solutions, but hopefully they still learn how to bounce along the way. I got my dad to play the game for the first time. It took him a bit to get it, but he did eventually beat the campaign, with some interesting strategies, like moving the sun to access asteroids outside of the ring in the cleanup mission. He gave some suggestions of how to make things more clear in the mission select menu. The menus were consistently being rated as the worst aspect of the game in the feedback survey. I thought the menus were bad because of the controls, but one player pointed out that the menus also lack a clear hierarchy of importance, and the mission select menu had too many overlapping elements. I'm not going to change the overall menu design at this point, but I did decide to clean up the mission select menu by making unimportant elements smaller, consolidated, or removed. I also made it easier to track completion progress and showed the difference between your best time and the goal time, as well as adding a new start mission icon. Continuing from where we left off from the demo missions, Mission 11 has the humans continue on their journey out of the solar system. In this mission, Pluto's orbit crosses Neptune, and Neptune's gravity attracts Pluto as its moon. You need to throw precisely, since Neptune can't yet move its moon to catch the cargo. In the next mission, the player is encouraged to drain health from the sun by grabbing it. Since Jupiter has high throw strength, the sun will start to move. The ring moves along with it, so you can use this to reach the safe zone. For the next sumo mission, you play as Saturn. Bounce is disabled, so you will have to use spin to survive throws from Jupiter, and then throw them yourself. The relic challenge is to win by only grabbing Jupiter's moon. I figured sentient planets might get bored in the trillions of years between missions. Earth decides to play bowling with asteroids. You get 2 bombs to throw, and if you missed with those, you can always use yourself as a final ball. In the next mission, opponents are locked in place until grabbed. They'll always bounce the ring, so you'll have to win by draining their health. Jupiter won't spin to break out of the grab, but Saturn will, though it'll always spin in the same direction, so players can see what effect counter-spinning has on grab time and health drain. Uranus will always mix up its spin direction, so you'll have to mix up your counter-spin too. It's possible to complete the mission in just 3 grabs, which is the relic challenge. The final cargo mission for Chapter 1 has you transfer the humans past the Kuiper Belt to Eris. You have to swing to gain momentum to make it through the asteroids. This marks the end of their journey to leave the solar system and onto new worlds. This isn't the end of Chapter 1 though. In the next devlog, I'll be implementing the final missions before the death of the sun, and what the planets do to survive. If you haven't already, play the demo and wishlist Sumorbit on Steam.